I don't want a lot of female friends. I cannot deal with women. I prefer to have friends with men or be friends with men. I'd rather do male relationships instead of female relationships. I can't do females. Have you ever said things like that? Well, there might be a reason why women prefer to be friends with men opposed to being friends with women. But first, like and subscribe to this channel and share this content. Share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. Why do women prefer to be friends with men opposed to being friends with women? Well, in my experience, having a lot of female friendships sometimes opens you up to a lot of chaotic energy, especially if you're not careful when you choose your female friends. See, women and men undoubtedly are different. We're different in our emotions, we're different in our mindset, the way we move through life. We're completely different. And while opposites attract in relationships, opposites absolutely attract in friendships as well. Now with women, because we are more emotional in nature, when you have a woman who is a little bit jealous, a little bit insecure, and not in control of her emotions, it is difficult for her to be friends, genuine friends, with another woman. A woman who has jealousy, envy, and insecurity within herself, she's always looking to stir up drama and stir up issues where there are no issues. So if you're friends with a woman who has chaotic energy, wherever she goes, drama follows, you will not have any peace. See, women like that tend to be more at ease when there's drama in your life. And a lot of women, I think, in my experience, prefer not to have a lot of female friends because they bring that chaotic energy. Have you ever had a friend who every time you turn around, she's beefing with somebody, she has an argument with some girl, she's having issues with this person, she's always trying to call on you to pop up on somebody, to fight some kind of battle. It's always something negative with her. A lot of women, unfortunately, they cannot survive and thrive unless they're in constant chaotic energy. They cannot survive and thrive unless they're constantly talking about somebody else's business, constantly gossiping, constantly in some kind of drama, and they don't know peace. And for women who are more calm in nature, women who actually want to thrive in life and do positive things, they do not judge well with women who are chaotic in nature. And also, women tend to be a lot more unforgiving than men. When men have issues with one another, they tend to get over things quickly. But women, when they have an ought or have an issue with each other, that can go on for weeks, that can go on for months, that can go on for years. Women have a very passive aggressive nature about themselves. They're not like men where they just tell you straight up what's bothering them. You have to tiptoe around their attitude, their mood, you got to read between the lines of the things that they say in order to get down to the point that maybe you did something to offend them, you said something, you forgot something. They will never tell you exactly what happened. They will just have an attitude and be passive aggressive until you figure out something's wrong, if you take time to do that. And many women, such as myself, don't have time to decipher another individual's attitude, mood, and energy. If there's something wrong with you, please let me know. If I offended you in some way, please say something. But I don't have time for the passive aggressive nature of a lot of women. And I believe there are a lot of women who refrain from having female relationships for that purpose. I think that's the number one reason why many women prefer not to have too many, if any, female relationships or friendships. It's because of the passive aggressive nature of women. It's like one moment they will like you, one day you're best of friends, you're talking about everything, and then the next day, dead silence. They're really quiet. They're barely saying anything to you. And you're trying to figure out what happened. And it could have been as something as simple as the tone of your voice when you said something the previous day. Will that woman ever tell you that she didn't like what you said or how you said it? No, she will not. She will just shut down, get quiet, and expect you to be bothered by the fact that now she's quiet and passive and she's brought that negative energy into the room, and now it's left up to you to decipher why she's acting like that. And then let's not mention the very controlling nature that some women have when it comes to friendships. Meaning, if she's your friend, you can't be friends with the friend that she doesn't like. Yeah, you would think things like that would stop once you get out of high school or college, but they don't. You have women who are also, once again, the overarching personality type is that passive aggressive nature. So if they're your friend and they see that you are talking to someone that you just talking to them in passing because you're a nice person, and they might not like that person for whatever reason, once again, you really don't know why they don't like the person because they're passive aggressive. They don't say exactly what's wrong. They just have little moods and attitudes. So they see you speaking with someone who they don't necessarily care for, and next thing you know, you and her have an issue because you were talking to the girl that she doesn't like. Or you and your friends and your coworker are friends at work, and she sees you talking to the coworker that she doesn't necessarily care for. Now you two have an issue. My goodness, just explaining this is giving me a headache. And I think that, again, that's one of the reasons why a lot of women prefer not to do females. Now, of course, the feminine nature of women, we have a lot of emotion. And yes, when we have issues with one another or issues with somebody else, it's not always our first nature just to say, unless you were raised up in a very masculine type of household where you just automatically said what was wrong. A lot of women are a lot more passive in nature. I am guilty of that at times myself. But being emotionally mature and having emotional intelligence, when you have that, you understand that being passive aggressive long term, that makes things worse, not better. When you are not mature enough as a woman to actually say what's on your mind or to let someone know something's bothering you, then you have not fully matured as a woman. And that's what happens with many friendships and relationships between women. Because the woman you're dealing with is mentally and emotionally immature, you find yourself always in a position of having to figure her out. And I think a lot of women, because we don't have the time or the wherewithal, we're too busy dealing with other things, trying to be positive. We don't want to deal with women who are always passive aggressive and there's something wrong and they won't tell you and you got to figure it out. And then the clique mentality where they feel like they have to control you, where you can't speak to anyone else except for them. Or if you're being too kind to another woman, they try to make you feel bad as if you've wronged them for being kind to the woman that they might not necessarily care for. And I understand girl code, if you have a best friend and she just doesn't like this girl because she did something, I'm not saying that. I'm saying being a kind human being. And honestly, when you get past the age of 35, that kind of way of being where you can't be too kind to another woman if your friend doesn't like her, that is very emotionally and mentally immature. And friendships like that shouldn't even be existent when you get into your late 30s, 40s, and so on. But believe it or not, they're still out there. So why do women prefer to be friends with men more so than women? Because men are easygoing for the most part. Men are more laid back in regards to their relationships with women. I have had many male friends where we can just talk about different things and he's not monitoring my tone. He's not monitoring how I'm saying things. He's not easily offended by what I'm saying. A lot of women like that. They like to be able to be free to just be themselves. And unfortunately, when you are friends with a woman who is not mentally mature as a woman, you can never genuinely just be yourself. She's always micromanaging you, or not managing, but she's always has you under a microscope to see if you're saying the right things, if you're doing the right things, if you're acting the right way in the moment. It's like you have to always make sure you're on in order to be okay in that friendship. And God forbid, if you have a disagreement with an emotionally immature woman, she will never let you live it down. You see, a part of healthy friendships is being able to agree to disagree. And a lot of women, unfortunately, there is no agree to disagree. There is, you see it my way, or we're not friends anymore. You see it my way, or you're going to have to deal with my passive aggressive attitude for the rest of your life. Or I'm not going to be dealing with you because you didn't see things my way. A lot of women are toxic in the fact that they want you to support any mess that they do. And if you don't support it, they look at you like their enemy. But men are not like that. Men don't care if you don't support what they're doing. They want the company. They enjoy your company. And I'm not saying a man that is interested in you intimately. I'm saying just, have you ever had a male coworker? Let's say it that way. Because many women, I'm sure you're familiar with the term work wife, work husband. While I don't subscribe to those things, I cannot say I've never had a work husband. We have all had a community work husband, whether it be a manager, a coworker, where they were just kind and did whatever you want them to do. They were there to listen, those kind of things. Men are different. They're more easygoing and laid back. Women, not so much. It depends. If you are the same type of woman, now if you are both mentally mature, if you are both emotionally mature, you can be friends with that kind of woman. But if you are friends with a woman that has chaotic energy, and because you don't display that, that is going to be a friendship that is going to be toxic and drain you. And as feminine women, we don't want to deal with people in general that drain our energy, be it mentally, spiritually, physically. We just don't have time for it. So a lot of women, because unfortunately, the way a lot of women are, they're very passive aggressive once again, and they don't know peace. Many women prefer to either have male relationships, male friendships, or they just ride alone. They stay by themselves. For me, like I've said in previous videos, I am a girly girl. I prefer to be around women who I can be easygoing with, be myself, be yourself. A lot of women don't want to be relationships or friendships with women because they can't be themselves. See, especially if you're from a different cultural background. For me, I'll speak for myself. Being a Black woman, I do not like a lot of the things that my neighborhood, my family of origin, where I came from, I don't like a lot of those things. Excuse me. I was a little under the weather for a few days, so trying to get my voice back together. But as I was saying, I don't like a lot of the things that stereotypically I should like. I don't like to do a lot of things that stereotypically I should like. And because of that, I've always had, not issues, but I didn't really click well with the neighborhood girls. I wasn't loud and obnoxious and ratchet and all that. I wasn't real loud. I was more shy, more quiet, more reserved. I like going to the mall and shopping. I wasn't at the skating ring with everybody that's in the neighborhood hanging out because I know a lot of people. I know how it goes. You go to the skating rink, next thing you know, you're in a fight. So I prefer to go to the mall, out there in the suburban area and walk around, look around, buy little things, even if I'm with my other friend or by myself. I was always like that. I maybe had one or two girls with me at the max, but most of the time I was by myself, enjoying my own company because I didn't like to hang out and do the things that the other girls, other women did because they were always in some mess, going to house parties and things like that. I was invited. I didn't go because I don't want to be the one that's sitting there looking cute, being kind, looking nice. But because I'm not up in somebody's face, I'm a target. And when you are a woman that is more reserved, more confident, more kind in nature, you are often a target for hostile women, which is another reason why a lot of women don't prefer to have a lot of female friendships because they don't want to be a target of another woman's insecurity, jealous, and hostility. When you are a woman that is more kind, even not just with your friendships, even out in the world, Have you ever been in a place, like I'll tell you, I was in a place ordering food one time, and the lady, it was a white lady right in front of me, and it was a black lady on the other side of the counter helping her. And she was so kind to this lady. I heard her saying, okay, ma'am, have a good day, you know, those kind of things. And when I got to the counter, how you doing? And at the end of the whole interaction, I said, thank you. And she said, mm-hmm. I'm like, what is that? So this lady that was in front of me that happened to be another nationality, she gets to see all of your teeth, all of your personality. But once I get to the front counter, you just shut down and get real monotone. What is that? And you see a lot of women, because once again, it's that passive aggressive nature. Now, she don't know me. She doesn't know me. But I wish, and I think this is more a deeper issue with a lot of women. The reason why they tend to gravitate away from women who are more kind, reserved, especially when they're in the same age group. I'm going to leave that for another video, because that is a real issue. If you're a little too kind and sweet and confident, and you're in the same age bracket with that woman, and she is the way she is, that passive aggressive, negative kind of way of being, that's a whole different issue. But the point of everything is that because of the passive aggressive nature of a lot of women, and because they don't know peace, and because they don't genuinely understand, and this doesn't go for all women, of course, that should go without saying, but many women, they walk alone all because they don't want to gossip, they don't want drama, they want peace, they want to genuinely enjoy themselves and level up and do well, and they want to do it with women who have that same mindset. And unfortunately, many women do not have that mindset. If they're not talking about somebody, if they're not plotting on somebody, if they're not doing something negative, they don't have anything to say, anything positive to offer. And because of that, women like myself and others like me often find themselves walking alone and prefer it that way. And that's just the way it is until your tribe finds you. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.